So what is this simple test? It's the definition of lead. Intentionally influencing and enabling people to accomplish a given task. Let's take a closer look. This is Leanne with the Everyday Princess. Being the daughter of the King transforms our everyday lives, including in leading. Isn't it great that we can help each other along the way? Let's take a look at the definition for lead. Intentionally influencing and enabling people to accomplish a given task. First, intentionally. That means you plan, you think about it, you prepare. It doesn't just fall in your lap. Influencing and enabling people. That means the goal is that they do the task and they learn to be successful in the task and you help them. To accomplish a given task, that means you have to know clearly what your target is and be able to communicate that and accomplish it. That's leading. Let's take a look at the 4 practical aspects of leading. This helps to understand it even better and to put it into practice. The first one is set direction, and that's about target. What is your target? You only lead if you have a target. Otherwise, you're just going for a walk. And you also have to decide who is going to be a part of deciding what that target is. The second one is align, and that is about working together. Everybody having their part, but everybody working together towards the same goal. Motivate, that's about energy, and this makes a world of difference. This is one of my favorites. For example, if somebody asks me in a team to do the bookkeeping, I have no energy. I have no abilities. I don't do details. But if somebody says in an English project, hey, Leanne, go into a classroom with 20 people and you do the first lesson to get them to love being a part of learning a new language. I can do that. And I have the energy for it and I am ready to go. And imagine if all of your team has that. You can find out what motivates them and you work with that to add that energy to the team and you go flying towards your goal. Manage is the 4th one. And manage is about oversight. And the leader needs to know what's going on. It doesn't mean that you micromanage and it doesn't mean that you do the jobs, but you need to know what's going on and have that overview in case something changes or there's a problem and you can help work out what the solution will be to get you still to the goal. Let's look at those 4 aspects in this story of Jesus in Matthew 14:13-21. Now when Jesus heard this, he withdrew from there in a boat to a desolate place by himself. But when the crowds heard it, they followed him on foot from the towns. When he went ashore, he saw a great crowd, and he had compassion on them and healed their sick. Now when it was evening, the disciples came to him and said, "This is a desolate place, and the day is now over. Send the crowds away to go into the villages and buy food for themselves." But Jesus said, "They need not go away. You give them something to eat." They said to him, "We have only 5 loaves here and 2 fish." And he said, "Bring them here to me." Then he ordered the crowds to sit down on the grass, and taking the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, he looked up to heaven and said a blessing. Then he broke the loaves and gave them to the disciples, and the disciples gave them to the crowds. And they all ate and were satisfied. And they took up 12 baskets full of broken pieces left over. And those who ate were about 5,000 men, besides women and children. Now let's take a look at the 4 aspects in this story and how Jesus intentionally influenced and enabled the disciples to accomplish a given task. First, set direction. What is the target? Feed 5,000 people. And the disciples, they really wanted to help. They wanted to help these people. So the target, feed 5,000 people. Align. That's together. Each person has their job. So the little boy, he brings the 5 loaves and 2 fishes. Verses 17, 18, 19, the disciples bring the food to Jesus and he blesses it. This is so important. And in 19, The crowd's part is to sit down. Doesn't sound like a hard task, except if you stop to think how many people that was. And seriously, isn't that a miracle in itself that that many people sat down? Motivate. What is the motivation in this story? Well, clearly hunger. It's hunger for Jesus that put them in this situation, a very good situation, and hunger for food, because it's now supper time, is a motivating factor. And as I mentioned, the disciples' motivation was they wanted to help these people. Manage. In verses 16 to 21, we see how Jesus managed this project. Now, he knew what was going on. He knew that it should be, don't send them away into the village. He knew that the task should be accomplished by the disciples, and that even though they were shocked by this is how you lead. You don't do it yourself. You help the people that you're working with and you have influence over. You help them to do the task. And that's what Jesus did. And he managed that and gave them the steps and how the crowd sits. He broke the bread. He handed a piece to each of them. He said, go out and feed them. And they saw clearly they needed him, but they had a job to do. That's leading. And was it accomplished? At the end, you see, and they were satisfied. They were so satisfied, and the task was so well finished that there was leftovers from feeding more than 5,000 people. Now, this is a very, very good lesson for leaders. Just this one thing is that we need Jesus. We cannot do this by ourselves. I, as a leader, I have this little bit to offer, and I need Jesus. I pray, Lord, please send this video where you want it to go. Please touch the hearts of the people listening. I feel on my own not able to do the task, but bring it to Jesus, and he will bless as he sees fit. So my question for you is, are you intentionally influencing and enabling people to accomplish a given task? I'm sure at some level you are, and we all have space to grow and learn. So stop and think of one situation in your life where you could be more clear on the target, or have your team work together more, or find out what motivates the people on your team, or your child. It depends on the situation. It could be home, it could be work, it could be church, it could be a sports team. And then, or is it a question of managing? My prayer is that you will take one new step in leading today. And you will see more clearly that you are leading, and you have space to grow and learn, and a way to grow and learn. So that's all for today. The Lord bless you. And next week is a story of a leader and how these 4 aspects worked out in her life and ministry. Stay tuned for next week. Bye for now. And if you would like to subscribe, you can tap on the subscribe and hit the bell. And if you've appreciated this video and you want to click on like, I would appreciate that too. Bye.